time we were in Belize, and a colleague of mine, he basically found that he'd gotten this worm into his knee. Now worms are they're about the size of a double thread, and basically it had gone through his knee, and it was just under the surface of his knee. So when we got back to Hereford, he went down to the med centre, and they gave him a course of tablets to take, and the worm disappeared. Well, it was about a month later he was actually having a shave, and he noticed the worm was coming out of the white of his eye. To his shock and horror, he ran straight back down to the medical centre, and then they put him on another course of tablets. Well, it disappeared again, and it wasn't until a month later he was lying in bed with his wife, and she was tickling his chest, and she went, "Oh, what's this?" And the worm has actually come out of his chest here. Well, what he did is he got down to the med centre before it disappeared, and they tied a little suture, a piece of string around it, and sewed it onto his chest. And every day they would pull a little bit out of it, and it took about a week to get this worm out, and it was about this long by the time it came out. The thing is, if you pull them, you'll snap them, they'll come back inside you, and then they'll regenerate. So it's very important to take a little bit out of at a time. But it was very funny watching this worm become larger and larger on his chest. Now in the jungle, everybody has this thing that, you know, there's a snake hiding under every branch, or there's big spiders. Well, there is, but you'll never ever see them. Snakes are very, very clever at hearing people move with the vibration on the ground, so they'll just slide away, and basically they're never any problem. The only time you'll ever maybe come across one, and it's when it's very, very dangerous, is during the rainy season, when the temperatures become quite basically low, and snakes, with them being cold-blooded, rely on heat for movement, and when it's cold they become dormant, and this is where they can't move away. So if you're stepping over a deadfall, you might surprise it and get bitten. But I've, over my 10 years, and as I said, working a lot in the jungles, I only knew of one colleague who was bitten, and he was bitten by a spider, and he went into shock, and we had to get him helicoptered out of the trees, but that was the only time. But the jungle is a great place to be as a soldier, because you can always hide, you can always get a good 12 hours sleep, because once you're under that canopy and the sun goes down, it becomes pitch black and nothing moves in the jungle, so you're always guaranteed a good night's sleep. There's always plenty of water, and there's always an abundance of food, whether it be in the form of berries, vegetables, or animals.